Hey, Tilray traders and investors, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Monday, October 2nd. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. And it's a brand new month, brand new week, brand new quarter. In this video, we're going to be discussing the stock Tilray. We're going to be discussing some news that came out with regards to a settlement with Medipharm Labs. There's also some news with regards to the Anheuser Busch transaction, which closed. And we're going to discuss the earnings that are coming up in a couple days and the conference call, as well as check in on the chart. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on what to expect in the days, weeks, months ahead. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. I would appreciate it. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. Also, make sure to give Pow Group a follow on X, which is previously Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Best way to get out real-time updates to the community. So again, the handle for that is @GroupPow. Also, make sure to check out powmerch.ca. I've had an overwhelming support and number of orders, so I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart. I love each and every one of you who supported me along this journey, and you can go here and check out some of your Team Tilray swag. We got some hats as well. Just came out with a bunch of new products. There's one with the eagle on the back as well. But like I said, tons of orders, so I really do appreciate all the support. And speaking of the earnings, which is scheduled for October 4th, that's also the conference call as well. That'll be held at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. I've already done a video. This was 11 days ago on the earnings preview. So if you haven't seen that video, you can check that out. I give the earnings estimates and whatnot from analysts. And then I go into, my thoughts and opinions on that. But just in an effort of time and redundancy, I'm not going to repeat all of that. You can go back and check that video out. But here's the news reported as by MJ Biz Daily. Tilray to pay Medipharm $9 million package related to the Hexo MJ supply dispute. So Canadian producer Tilray Brands has agreed to pay rival producer Medipharm Labs and a settlement package worth 9 million Canadian dollars. And here's the details. It's related to the Medipharm's dispute with Hexo, which Tilray obviously acquired earlier this year. In January 2020, Medipharm filed a statement of claim in Ontario Superior Court of Justice against Hexo, one of its long-term customers, over supply agreement for MJ concentrates. The claim said Quebec-headquartered Hexo owed money to Ontario-based Medipharm for products shipped and another sum of money owed for contractually committed amounts not yet shipped. Tilray, which has offices in Ontario and New York, closed its purchase of troubled producer Hexo in June for aggregate purchase price of roughly 56 million and 74 million Canadian. In July 2022, Medipharm was awarded a favorable summary judgment in Ontario Court of Justice, but Hexo appealed the summary judgment, and a hearing was scheduled for October 12, 2023. However, in connection with the settlement agreement, Hexo has agreed to abandon its appeal. After Tilray's recent acquisition of Hexo, the company sought to resolve the dispute and establish a long-term supply relationship, according to Medipharm's statement. So it starts off negative, but actually has a nice spin on it here. Under the settlement, Medipharm will receive a total value consideration of 9 million Canadian, as I mentioned. 3 million of that will be immediate cash payment. 4.5 million of that it will be issued in common shares of Tilray, so a little bit of dilution there, and 1 million in Tilray MJ products, including flour and biomass. And then finally, a supply agreement valued at 500,000 Canadian to provide Tilray with Medipharm products and services over 4 years. Also, Medipharm said the 4-year supply agreement will allow it to establish a positive ongoing business relationship with a global leader in the MJ industry. And no argument there. Tilray definitely a leading global player in the MJ industry. I think it'll be top 3 globally long term. Once completed, the deal will bolster Medipharm's balance sheet, which had 14.7 million cash Canadian as of earlier this summer. In the statement, Medipharm's management said it believes the deal puts the company in a strong position to continue to invest in pharmaceutical and clinical pipelines. The company will also thoughtfully consider consolidation opportunities in the industry. So there could be a buyout target potentially, or maybe buying another company. We'll see, but I'd say more of a buyout. This settlement will allow us to receive 9 million in value, which will dramatically strengthen our balance sheet and allow us to invest in many organic and inorganic growth opportunities, Medipharm CEO David Pittock said. So non-organic, so that could be M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So maybe they are looking to break out the checkbook and buy some companies. We are also excited to establish a long-term relationship with Tilray, a global leader in the MJ space. This agreement builds on Medipharm's many customers across multiple channels, multiple geographies, and B2B segments, business to business, and pharma. And then, moreover, on the news, Tilray Brands closes the transaction, acquiring 8 beer and beverage brands from Anheuser Busch, solidifies leadership position in the U.S. craft beer market. So again, not going to go into this whole entire details. You can check that out on your own time, but I did want to start wrapping it up, keep this video as short as possible, and I still want to go over the chart. So if we take a look at the daily time frame here, I did a video, a short actually, not too long ago, and it's got almost 1,000 views. Didn't get very good response from that. It's always funny when you come on, you know, people seem to hate the messenger. I'm not the message. I'm just the messenger. I'm telling you what the charts are saying, and people say, oh, you're a perma bear or whatever. You're trying to get the price to go down. I'm like I have the control over that, right? 1,000 views, and there's millions and millions, billions of dollars traded per day, right? So if every person there accounted for even $100 that they put in that day, or even $1,000, that's nothing, right? We're talking in one day there was almost $2.5 billion traded just in the NASDAQ ticker on Tilray alone. So again, when I come on here in the charts, I wish it was a daily bull flag. I wish I could have said that we were going to $5, but that wasn't the case. And then some people were saying, well, you said we were going to $13. And I said, yes, that's what the inverse head and shoulders said. I didn't say that. The chart said that. And then just because we have a time frame like the monthly time frame doesn't mean we're getting there. I did the video saying we could potentially go to $13, but in the video and on the monthly time frame, that means it could take months, right? It could take 2 months, take a month, could take 3 months, could take 6 months, right? Could even take a year in some cases, but generally, it's usually a few months. And we're forming the right shoulder here now. So if we just take a look, we have the left head and we're forming the right, and we're still in a monthly downtrend. So we're still looking for the monthly higher low to give us the higher low and higher high to be in a monthly uptrend, to be confident that this bear market is over and we're potentially entering a new multi-year bull market. We haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend since this brutal bear market began. And we're now down from February 2021 highs. We're down almost 98%. So we haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend since that bear market began, right? Since we've been down 98%. So once that happens, that's going to be a monumental momentum shift. And this is where most people get shaken out, is on the monthly higher low when we go to change that trend. So yes, there is a monthly head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. This is the potential right shoulder forming, which I said to be on the lookout for, but that doesn't mean we can't have smaller corrections on smaller time frames. So we can be bearish on the daily time frame with a daily bear flag targeting 195, which it is, as I mentioned in that short video, but we're still bullish on the higher level time frame, on the monthly, right? But we're still in a monthly downtrend, so we still need that higher low, but that was to be expected, right? But like I said, just because the inverse head and shoulders and monthly time frame says we could go to $13, that doesn't mean we're going there. It says we could. The odds are favoring that possibility, but it's going to take months to play out. We can have, like I said, a daily time frame, a smaller level time frame, and shorter period of time can show weakness and bearishness, right? And say downward pressure, but in the grand scheme of things, in the macro trend, we could be heading up, right? It ebbs and flows. There's higher lows and higher highs. That doesn't mean there's big corrections along the way. So it's just technical analysis 101. But again, people just don't take the time to, and it takes hours and hours and hours to start to really understand this stuff, right? But once you get a hold of it, it's just like riding a bike, right? It's just like, starts off super hard for a while, and then eventually you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know how to ride a bike, right? It's the same thing with technical analysis. There's a lot to know, and you kind of just got to do the basics at first and then branch off and, do what you think works for you. But like I said, most people just don't want to invest the time. And like I said, it's not a guarantee, and there's different strokes for different folks. Some people like trend lines. For example, I'm not a huge fan of a trend line, but you can see here this trend line was broken, and here we are. We came back. We tried to form support off of it. We started a daily bounce again, very, very weak bounce, and then dropped to a daily lower low. So we had the high, low, lower high, anything under the 0.32 fib there at 267 USD was a weak bounce and a potential for a daily bear flag. We lost the daily uptrend. So that increased the odds of this playing out. And then sure enough, once we broke support here at 234, that confirmed the daily bear flag. And you take the move from the high to the low, you move it out to the 0.32 fib, and that says we could be targeting about $1.95. And then we're coming very close. So just off the low of the day today, we came almost 11% away. So we're very close to that. And just because, and we have a gap there as well around 172. So it could get extreme, right? That could potentially happen, but that'll just be buying opportunities, in my opinion, as we head to daily oversold while we look for a monthly higher low and a monthly trend change. Like I said, this is generally when people get shaken out. But again, this isn't financial advice. This is only for entertainment and informational purposes only, my own thoughts and opinions. And you should never buy or sell anything based on anything I say or write. You should do your own due diligence and do your own research and buy something because you want to buy it, not because of what somebody else says, right? right? But like I said, daily bear flag target is getting close. So, and we could see some impairments from the Hexo acquisition as well. And then obviously this news that came out after market today, this may hurt the stock a little bit. It's not a huge amount, it's only 9 million, but some dilution nonetheless. And then, like I said, we weren't that strong. We're losing that trend line as well. We're seeing the daily bear flag play out and not yet daily oversold. So I would expect us to lose $2, maybe go as low as around 175, and then we start to pop up, and then I think we could get our monthly high or low. But again, we'll just continue to check in on the charts on a day-by-day basis. We did have a bear cross of the stochastic, and the MACD could potentially see a bear cross here on the weekly time frame as well. And we're back below the 10-week moving average. So again, adding more bearish sentiment to the bearish thesis that we could potentially see a little bit more downside. And then we lost the 50 weekly moving average there at 267, closed last week below it. So again, lots of signals here saying that we could potentially see a little bit more downside. The only glimmer of hope is that we're seeing a golden cross with the 50-day moving average below the 200-day. But just because they're crossing doesn't mean that we're going to the moon tomorrow, right? Look how long it took. We got above it here and the cross was forming, and then we had a pretty big crash, right? We went from about $12 all the way down to $7. And then again, most people think, oh, we're done. I'm exiting. This is just another failed attempt breakout, right? And then that's when the real move comes, right? So it can take multiple weeks, if not months, before we see the upside trajectory and real momentum start to gain into high gear, no pun intended, right? But once it starts to kick into high gear, that's generally when people FOMO and it's too late, right? It's now when the monthly higher lows are forming, when most people get psyched out of the market. And I've seen a ton of people commenting today, oh, I'm getting out of the MJ market, I'm sick of this, blah, 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 right? And that's usually what happens, right? And then once the bounce starts to go and we start to confirm monthly uptrends, people are in disbelief. There's, oh, this is just another sucker's rally. And then we confirm monthly uptrends and then we're off to the races, right? So again, Golden Cross is great, but we are holding the 100-day moving average there at 220. If we lose 220 or close a daily candle below it, I would expect us to drop below $2 in a hurry. So like I said, over the next few months, I think it's going to be bullish. We could see DEA come back with a recommendation at some point over the next couple of months, whether they support the Schedule 3 recommendation from HHS. We know that safer banking is heading to the Senate floor, and then it's off to the House if passed, and then off to Biden to sign into law. So again, I'm thinking that, cautiously optimistic is a term that's popular, but I think we have the best chance now than ever. And some pieces of legislation there's two pieces, right, that have passed in the U.S. Congress. And that's the first time ever, right, realistically, since the Biden research bill. So this is great to see, right? Things are trending in the right direction, and we just have to be patient. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is going to take multiple years, and as long as we maintain realistic expectations and have a plan, right? That's the thing that most people fail to do, is have a plan and then execute it, right? Those who plan to fail to plan to fail. So make sure to have an exit plan. It's just as important to know when to buy as it is to sell as well. But obviously not financial advice. But going to end it there, let me know your thoughts and opinions leading into earnings. You think it's going to be bullish? You think it's going to be bearish? Going to end it there, just as a quick reminder as well, Hexo's revenue will be on the earnings, but we won't have the advisory fee. So they should, in theory, cancel each other out around 30-40 million is what I'm expecting. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. We'll continue the conversation there. And we'll continue that conversation there. And we always love hearing your thoughts and opinions. I really do encourage thoughtful discourse, even if you agree with me or disagree with me. It just makes an overall better experience for the community to learn from each other, right? And nobody's right all the time. We can present arguments and try to persuade one another and come to the truth. Ultimately, that's what we want to get to, is the truth. So hope you have a great night. We'll see you again on the next video.